The United Kingdom's primary flag carrier British Airways has selected Pratt Whitney's geared turbofan or GTF engine to power up to 63 Airbus A320neo family aircraft, ending decades of exclusive reliance on CFM International engines for its Airbus narrowbody fleet. So in this video we take a look at why the airline is introducing a second engine supplier for the first time on its A320neo family fleet, and what this decision says about how airlines are choosing engines in today's increasingly complex aviation market. The announcement was made on the opening day of the 2026 Farnborough International Airshow. The 63 Airbus A320neo family aircraft expected to feature the new GTF engines comprise 33 firm orders and 30 options. The first aircraft are expected to enter service from 2027, introducing Pratt & Whitney engines into the airline's modern Airbus narrowbody fleet for the first time. Alongside the engine selection, British Airways has signed a 12-year engine-wise comprehensive services agreement. The maintenance package will see Pratt & Whitney provide long-term maintenance, repair and overhaul or MRO support, giving the airline predictable maintenance costs while allowing the manufacturer to manage engine health throughout their service lives. The move breaks with a long-standing strategy. British Airways' existing fleet of 34 A320neos and 20 A321neos is powered exclusively by CFM International LEAP-1A engines. According to Airbus's June 2026 order backlog, the airline has 64 A320neo family aircraft on firm order, making this one of the most notable engine selection changes the carrier has made in decades. Pratt & Whitney described the agreement as a major endorsement of its geared turbofan program following several challenging years. Announcing the order, Rick Dearlue, president of commercial engines at Pratt & Whitney, said, "Today marks a pivotal moment and a strong vote of confidence in the GTF engine as the UK's flagship carrier British Airways becomes the newest GTF customer. As the most fuel-efficient choice for the A320neo aircraft, the GTF engine will help British Airways achieve its international fleet expansion goals and enhance the travel experience for passengers." Pratt & Whitney has spent much of the past 3 years addressing one of the industry's largest commercial engine durability issues after discovering powdered metal contamination affecting certain engine components manufactured between 2015 and 2021. The issue affected hundreds of Airbus A320neo family aircraft worldwide, forcing airlines such as Wizz Air, Spirit Airlines, Lufthansa and Indigo to ground aircraft, reduce schedules and lease replacement capacity while engines underwent inspections and component replacements. The resulting inspection program forced approximately 600 to 700 premature engine removals between 2023 and 2026. RTX, Pratt & Whitney's parent company, recorded a pre-tax operating profit charge of roughly $3 billion during 2023 to cover the issue, while airline compensation exceeded $1 billion during the first year alone. Although inspections continue, the program has increasingly shifted from crisis management to executing a long-term recovery plan and restoring fleet availability. While British Airways' latest order introduces a second engine supplier, CFM stressed that its relationship with the airline remains substantial, describing the operator as a valued customer. A CFM spokesperson declined to comment directly on the carrier's purchasing decision, stating, "We do not comment publicly on our discussions with our customers." The LEAP engine family entered commercial service in 2016 and powers all 3 variants of the Airbus A320neo family, as well as the Boeing 737 MAX and Comac C919. Developed by CFM International, a 50-50 joint venture between GE Aerospace and Safran Aircraft Engines, the engine has become one of the world's most widely used next-generation narrowbody power plants, with thousands delivered to airlines globally. British Airways has been among its long-standing customers, operating the LEAP-1A across its entire A320neo and A321neo fleet. Although Pratt & Whitney's powdered metal contamination issue attracted the greatest public attention, both engine manufacturers have spent recent years refining their products after entry into commercial service. While the GTF program has been dominated by accelerated inspections and engine removals, CFM has also introduced a series of engineering upgrades to improve the long-term durability of the LEAP 1A. As a result, both engine families continue to evolve as operational experience from thousands of flights feeds into ongoing product improvements. For Pratt Whitney, the priority has been replacing affected components, accelerating inspections, and returning grounded aircraft to airline fleets. The issue has progressed from identifying affected engines to executing a long-term recovery program supported by expanded maintenance capacity. Despite the disruption, the geared turbofan retains a strong efficiency proposition, with Pratt Whitney stating the engine delivers up to 20% lower fuel consumption and a 75% smaller noise footprint than previous generation power plants. Meanwhile, CFM has focused on introducing incremental durability enhancements rather than large-scale inspections. These include an upgraded high-pressure turbine or HPT durability kit and the reverse bleed system or RBS, which are designed to improve component longevity, reduce fuel nozzle wear, and extend operating intervals before major overhauls. By late 2025, the manufacturer had reported that the RBS had been installed on nearly half of all LEAP 1A engines in service, with the retrofit continuing across the global fleet. Operating multiple engine types within the same aircraft family is generally not an airline's preferred approach. While the aircraft themselves remain largely identical, different engines require separate spare parts inventories, dedicated engineer training, distinct maintenance procedures, and separate long-term support arrangements. Those additional requirements increase operational complexity and cost, which is why many airlines standardize on a single engine option whenever possible. British Airways has historically followed that strategy. BA hasn't publicly explained why it selected Pratt Whitney for this latest order, and neither the airline nor parent company IAG has suggested the decision was driven by concerns over the LEAP 1A. Likewise, CFM declined to comment on its discussions with the airline, saying that British Airways remains a valued customer with 100+ LEAP engines in its fleet and more still to be delivered. As a result, any explanation beyond the commercial announcement itself remains speculative. What can be said is that airlines typically evaluate engine selections using a broad range of factors rather than a single influence. Purchase price, long-term maintenance agreements, fuel efficiency, engine availability, manufacturer support, delivery schedules, and life-cycle operating costs all play important roles in multi-billion-dollar fleet decisions. Introducing a second engine supplier also reduces reliance on a single manufacturer at a time when the aerospace industry continues to face supply chain constraints and longer maintenance turnaround times, although British Airways has not publicly identified any of these considerations as the reason behind its decision. The British Airways order illustrates how the competitive landscape has evolved since the A320neo entered service. Airlines are no longer judging engine manufacturers solely on fuel burn or acquisition costs. Long-term maintenance support, engine availability, durability improvements, and commercial flexibility have become equally important considerations. While Pratt Whitney will understandably celebrate the agreement as an important endorsement of its recovery, the decision should not necessarily be interpreted as a rejection of the LEAP 1A. CFM continues to invest heavily in durability upgrades and maintains that British Airways remains a major LEAP customer, with more than 100 engines already in service or on order across its fleet. Both Pratt Whitney and CFM continue to enhance their respective products after early service durability challenges, and airlines are increasingly choosing flexibility over exclusivity. For one of CFM's longest-standing narrowbody customers, introducing a second engine supplier for the first time in decades is less a verdict on one engine and more a reflection of how fleet strategy is evolving. What do you think? Did British Airways make the right decision by introducing a second engine supplier, or would you have stayed exclusively with CFM? Let us know by leaving a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more aviation content. See you next time. And be sure to check out Simpleflying's flight tracker. From live alerts and data on commercial, military, and government flights, it goes way beyond your standard tracker. It was built specifically for avgeeks, free and live, right at your fingertips. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles and a podcast every week. Visit simpleflying.com.